Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me as always is my Noxzema using girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's June 6th, 1997, and we watched an episode of 90210 starring the Noxzema girl. I just realized that that's who she is and what she's from.
I knew she looked familiar too, but I could not place it.
The Noxzema girl is the daughter of an international crime dude.
She does have nice skin. So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So do you.
Thanks.
Baby Smooth. I don't think you have actually ever used Noxzema, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I was correct.
Yeah, it's like cold cream, right? Like, yeah, I've washed my face with that lots of
I
times.
assume that's what it is. I don't know. I don't use it.
Pretty sure.
I have naturally flawless skin. I don't need to worry about it. So
Of course, darling.
sorry, everybody out there that needs Noxzema, but
So Dylan is sleeping with, or going to be sleeping with, the Noxzema girl.
yeah, well, it's being hinted at. I mean, they're not having sex yet, but it's close. And so this episode starts out with Dylan doing one of the I don't know, the most angering things that I can think of. Just hunting and pecking on his keyboard.
It was funny to
He
watch.
looks like a caveman trying to work a computer.
Yeah, he definitely does not know how to type.
And
Like,
then,
didn't they teach him that in school? They taught me that in school.
you would think so.
So, I don't know.
On an old Royal typewriter.
I mean, the actor, Luke Perry, was too old probably to be taught how to
Ooh, ouch.
type in school, because he is a grandpa. I mean, what is he, like 35 or something? I mean...
Yeah, I don't know exactly how old he is. But, yeah, it starts out with narration by him. Dear FBI.
Yeah, he's writing to the FBI. Not to the chick at the FBI. The FBI.
If you find this leather, I'm dead. And the FBI's like, okay.
Right. Yeah, I think he has an inflated sense of self-importance.
And then he says something like you pointed out, he's super condescending in this letter.
He's like, because you guys dropped the ball. I've been investigating this guy, and I'm going to take care of it. And
Right.
it's like, whatever, man.
I got your back, FBI.
And yeah, the last thing he wrote, by the way, on that page was that he was going to kill Tony Machete or whatever.
Tony Machete. He sounds like a character in a Quentin Tarantino film.
Right?
Oh no, it's Tony Machete.
But
Everybody run.
he types that out, and then there's a knock at the door, and luckily he hides the letter because it's the Noxzema girl, and he's writing about how he's going to kill her daddy.
Right.
This doesn't sound like a great way to start a romance.
So she wants to go on a date with him, I guess, and they're riding motorcycles or something?
Well, she just shows up at his door, and she's like, I came to pick you up. And she's not taking a motorcycle. She's taking him to surf, I think.
That was the second time she shows up at the door.
Yeah, she does that showing up thing a lot. And he's like, how do you know where I live? She's like, the phone book, of course.
Right.
Like, it's where everybody's information is.
I think she wanted to do a picnic or something like that.
I don't know. She showed up at his house.
They ended up going to the school, I think, or a cafe or something. Was that so I didn't quite follow everything that was
Yeah, I
happening.
can tell.
Was that where they were sitting? Was that a restaurant, like a cafe, or was that the outside of the university? Because at first they were sitting at a table.
That's outside the university when he's trying to get her to go with him now, and she has class. That was a separate time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was what happened in between that. So when they opened and she came to pick him, when she came to his door, what was that about then? They just said hello and then they moved on.
No.
And then they went, Dana.
She said, I'm picking you up to go. I thought it was they went surfing.
That was the second time.
The second time is when they rode motorcycles.
Well, it was the third time then.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was the third time she came to the door.
You admitted that you didn't follow, and yet you're arguing. Either way, they went on.
She said, he said something like, "We're pretty far from the beach" or whatever. When she said about the surfing and stuff like that.
Okay. They went on a few dates throughout the episode.
Right. Well, they went to they went to the university, and this dude was watching them, just comically reading a newspaper.
Her bodyguard.
Yeah. And then he lowers the newspaper like it's the Pink Panther or something like that. He's like,
And then when they go motorcycle riding.
Motorcycle?
Shut up.
On a rotary telephone. They're riding in the holes of a rotary telephone. They've been shrunk down. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style. And now they're riding a rotary telephone. Whee!
He's following them.
Oh, yeah. In the car, correct.
They're trying to lose him, which is silly.
Yeah, she goes, "Do you think you can lose him on your bike?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, for sure." And they just drive down the straight road.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's going to be like, "Where'd they go?" They're on the Pacific Coast Highway, and it's just one direction.
So at some point, they pull over and start making out, and this guy just smiles and watches them.
He pulls up and just watches. He's like, "Oh," he's rubbing his hands together. He's got a bottle of Jergens lotion.
Something. Yeah.
He's got some Noxzema.
It's pretty messed up.
Go.
Pretty messed up.
Oh yeah, it was weird looking. I know what they were trying to convey, but it was weird. He does have this weird little smile on his face, like, yeah, you get it.
And like I said, I think they're trying to make it seem like, oh, he's happy for her. He cares that she's in love or whatever.
Yeah, I guess, but like fucking weird.
Yeah.
And we ended the last episode where her dad was like, "Hey, find out everything you can about this dude." Mm-hmm. How long does it find out his last name's McKay?
Right.
And to put that together.
Yeah.
I don't even think this dude killed his dad. I think he's wrong.
Maybe. I mean, probably that would be funny, especially if he ends up killing him. That'd be hilarious.
That would be funny if one of the protagonists of the show committed murder,
right?
Of an innocent man on false pretenses. That would be very funny. It'd be a lot funnier than the lip thing that Steve and Brandon do.
Oh my god, they're such dorks. So Brandon discovers that Steve is he thinks he's trying to have cyber sex, but I don't think that was the goal. I think he really was trying to get a date. And he's chatting with this girl from the university website, and her alias is Cuddles.
Yeah.
And his is Tenderheart.
The Care Bear, Tenderheart.
It's hilarious. And so yeah, they're
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You always want to speed through everything. Let's live in this for a minute. Okay. Did you ever have any Care Bears?
Yes.
What Care Bears did you have, and what was your favorite Care Bear?
I don't know its official name, but it was the Sleepy Time Care Bear.
Oh, with the little night?
Yeah.
I think it was Good Night Bear, I believe.
Yeah, I had a big one.
Nice.
And I snuggled with it at night.
Nice. Any other Care Bears?
I don't think so. Did you have a Care Bear?
My sister had Sunshine Bear.
Aw.
And I believe I had Braveheart Bear or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Steve said having a Care Bear name gets them in the G spot. That is what he said.
Yeah.
What in the fuck?
Not in the feelings. Not in the cockles of the heart.
The G spot.
The G spot. When you think of Care Bears, do you think of... well, they are shooting that love all over. Right?
I guess. I think he's insane. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were doing this weird lip thing, Brandon's talking about. Well, oh, make sure you do the lip thing. You look like you're gonna cry. And
No. Steve said that. Brandon was trying to figure out how to get a girl, and he was like, "You know what you do?" Because he's talking about this ties into one of the other storylines, but he's talking about that editor of the paper, and he says, "Oh, you know how you melt her heart or whatever. Just say that love makes you cry or something like that." He's like, and you gotta, get the lip quiver and then so it looked like a situation where the two actors probably had a lot of fun with each other.
Yeah.
Filming that scene, but it doesn't convey to the comedy they think it does.
No, it was not funny. It was just dorky. They're just dorks.
But I'm sure the two actors had a great time doing it.
So, yeah, so Brandon's decided he wants to go after this editor.
Oh wow, we're just rocketing. Okay,
What?
Yeah, let's just pinball around
What
every
the fuck?
fucking storyline. We didn't finish Dylan's storyline. I didn't give you shit about that like I usually would. So then we go to Steve and Brandon because I happened to mention it, and now we're going to Brandon and the editor because I happened to mention that too.
It's called ADHD, okay? I'm sorry. You said we didn't finish Dylan's storyline. I don't remember anything else about Dylan's storyline.
She comes over again and says, "Hey, I wanted to say goodnight to you."
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "You couldn't say goodnight?" And she's like, "Well, I couldn't kiss you goodnight."
He said you couldn't say goodnight over the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so she kisses him and then leaves.
Yeah, and she's like, bye. It's really weird.
Gets him all hot and she's like, "All right, have fun."
It was a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Would you like that if a girl did that to you, or would you be irritated?
I'd be terrified because I figured you would be setting it up for somehow, trying to entrap me.
Right. Good answer. So, okay, so now we're talking about Brandon. We finished that storyline because there was that pivotal information about how she stopped by to give him a good night kiss.
Other stuff happened too. He talks to Brandon about it and he's like, she goes, "You're falling for it." And he's like, "Yeah, so what?" He's like, "I'm still going to fucking murder her dad."
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, if he really falls in love with her, there's no way. She can't hurt somebody you love like that.
No, you can't.
So,
I couldn't kill your parents.
good to know. Good to know. So, the background of this whole episode is the Rose Parade.
What the fuck? Yes, that's correct. It is.
And the girls are all...
I thought we were going to do Brandon's.
But I realized that I had to talk about the Rose Parade.
That's fine. What's her name's back? The one that's like, that said to Andrea that she was like, "Hey, I'm Jewish too." And I don't ever talk about it. But, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You're Jewish and we're going to welcome you into this sorority.
The president of the sorority who graduated last year.
She's back.
Because she works for the Rose Bowl.
And now she's the assistant director of the Rose Parade.
So all the girls are auditioning, I guess, to be on it or whatever?
Well, yeah, to be part of the princess court or whatever. What do you think of the Rose Bowl?
Nothing. I've never paid any attention to it before. How about you?
The University of Michigan plays in the Rose Bowl sometimes. That's what I care. That's the only thing I care about.
Do we have a Rose Parade for that?
No,
it's
the same Rose Bowl in California.
Oh.
The Rose Bowl, it's a big parade, it's a big party and stuff like that. It culminates in the football game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. That's the name of the stadium, is the Rose Bowl. And the winner of the Big Ten plays the winner of the Pac-10 conference in the Rose Bowl.
Okay. Cool. That explains why I know nothing about it. But the girls want to be
Michigan is got a good chance this year, I think.
The girls want to be the queen or whatever of the parade.
Right.
So they have this big audition thing.
The belle of the ball, yeah, where they all get numbers and they get talked to like their numbers.
Apparently, like, Kelly and Donna have wanted to be, like, in the Rose Bowl their whole lives and stuff.
Well,
and, like, they had Barbies that used to be in the Rose Bowl. And
Donna more so than Kelly. Like, Kelly, I think, kind of wanted it when she was younger, but now she's acting like she's too cool for it.
Well, she's a model, so she doesn't really need that extra boost of self-esteem. Donna's mother... Yeah, Donna wants it, and Donna's mother is like really chipping away at her self-esteem. So,
oh my god, yeah, Don's mom is really acting like a dick.
Oh my god, yeah, she's like, "Oh, you know, honey, I don't want you to be disappointed, so just don't even try." Basically,
right? Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
And Donna's like, "Yeah, of course I couldn't get picked for anything." Right,
yeah,
Mom?
you think that boob job's not doing some work there, Donna's mom?
I mean, she's got a little bit of a big nose. Otherwise, she's pretty. Like,
she's fine.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say she's the least attractive woman on the show, probably.
She's California pretty, though.
I don't know what that means.
Like, she looks like a Barbie that came to life.
She looks like a Barbie with just a little more plastic on the face.
Right. So...
You think that's California pretty? Barbie, like...
Yeah.
Plastic?
I mean,
like
maybe
the
that's...
plastic surgery?
Maybe that's because I'm from the Midwest, right? But
What's Midwest pretty?
thick girls who...
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what is Midwest pretty. Why don't you tell me?
You are. Big boobs.
Sweet.
Big butt. Curves. For days.
So,
Pretty face.
thanks. Anyway, I'm all discombobulated.
I guess.
Okay, Rose Bowl.
I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you.
You.
All of a sudden, everything got super serious. I called you pretty, and it was like I fucking murdered your dad.
No, that's what Dylan's going to do later. He's going to murder her dad.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, they all are auditioning for this fucking Rose Bowl thing.
Yeah.
They all have to wear numbers and introduce themselves as their number, which is weird. And
we learned that Valerie and Brenda were part of Miss Minneapolis or whatever.
yeah.
And that Valerie vomited on a judge.
Yeah, so she doesn't try out.
All she says is, we didn't make it to the finals.
But at least Brenda didn't throw up on the judge.
But that presumes they made it decently far then, I guess.
I guess.
Maybe they made it to the semifinals.
Who knows? I mean, I imagine vomiting on the judge did not help her case.
Probably not, no.
So, who would you think would get picked, though? I would have thought it would be Kelly, not Donna.
I guess, yeah, if we're going classic, yeah, probably Kelly.
Because the brunettes didn't even try. It was just Donna.
No, they tried.
They did? Claire did, too?
Yeah, they all tried. They all tried out. It's just that Valerie, because they wanted to go to that party.
Yeah.
It's just that Valerie didn't even go in front of the judges.
Okay.
She got the number, but she was like, yeah, I'm out now. You know, before she went to in front of the judges. We only see Donna go in front of the judges. We don't see the rest of them. Maybe the rest of them didn't, actually. Maybe the rest of them did the same thing that Valerie did and didn't actually even go up to the judges.
Huh.
They just went for the party.
Maybe.
But presumably they said they were going to or whatever. But yeah, they don't get picked. Donna comes up and she gives the most generic speech I've ever heard, where she's just like, I'm a native Southern Californian and I've watched the Rose Parade every year and I just love it.
I would just be so honored to be part of it, yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, thanks. And then she walks away, and as she walks away, everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Right. Like,
I think so.
what was so amazing about her and what she said? I agree. It was
Nothing.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
But she does get picked to be part of the court, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, good for her. Shove it in her mom's face.
So because she's going to be part of the court, there's also this big ball that she needs to have a date. They all need to have dates to go to the ball.
Yeah, they all get to go to the ball for some reason. I thought it was only for people that got picked for the court. That's what last year's president of the sorority seemed to indicate, but maybe not.
I mean, it seemed like anybody could come because even Valerie and what's his face ended up showing up.
Yeah, spoilers.
So, but everybody's freaking out that they need a date. So Kelly's boyfriend, the painter, is working on that mural. And so he's too busy to go with her. And then she asked her stepbrother, David, to take her.
Right. Well, first, Valerie was like, why don't you let him go with you? Or she's like, I'll make him leave.
Yeah, because he's working for her on this mural.
Yeah, painting this mural. And she's like, oh, thanks, Val. You know, they're all pals and stuff like
Right.
that. And she goes up to him and she's like, hey, you got any plans this weekend? He's like, oh, I got to keep working on this. And she's like, well, I don't have any plans either. I'll keep you company.
Yeah. She's like, I'll stay and help you. I don't have plans.
So, snake in the grass as always.
Right. So, yeah. So he's standing Kelly up and she takes David. And then Donna thinks Ray's going to go with her because, you know, that would be a good assumption. You're on the court. You have a boyfriend. He's going to be your date.
Yeah, but guess what? Now, to tie this all in, we've got to tell them that Ray went to that record company that he's supposed to be signing a contract for. And the little girl there, the little girl that was there is behind the desk for some reason.
Because she's sick, which still doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you put a sick child at the receptionist desk?
It sounded like she was doing cocaine. She's all like, this left nostril's all
plugged up.
But she... so he's like, oh, hey, you know, how could I forget? This guy's one of the worst actors I've ever seen in my life, by the way. Every reading's a dead-eyed reading where he's just like, well, how could I forget you? And,
It's such a pretty face.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a gross thing to say to a little girl.
The whole time I was thinking, like, he was going to turn to Donna and be like, hey, if I got to fuck this kid to get a record contract, I'm going to do it. Because that's the vibe he was putting out.
Right?
Because she's all like, oh, yeah, Ray. You know, and like, she's just got a little schoolgirl crush on him or whatever. And Donna was like, oh, you certainly have a fan or whatever.
Yeah, she thinks it's cute, but it is kind of gross.
And so her dad comes up and he's like, oh, didn't my secretary tell you I can't fucking see you today? Get the fuck out of here.
Basically.
And he's like, I got a tape for you. He's like, yeah, throw it in the garbage. And he's like, I'll listen to it later. And so he leaves. But now he can't go because
this little girl is having her birthday party that night and told her dad that what she wants for her birthday is Ray. So he has
Which is even grosser.
Right, like, I mean, he says it just like that, too. I mean, he says it means that he has to headline her party.
Right.
And obviously that's what it means, but it's a terrible way to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said that if he doesn't do it, his contract will be dead.
Yeah, and instead of that being any kind of source of drama or tension in the show, that's it.
Yeah.
It's just that scene, and then Donna's like, no, okay. And she's fine with it.
Who did she bring with her?
I don't know. They didn't show. I think she came alone.
That doesn't seem right. Especially if she was on the court. What the fuck? I mean, Kelly brought a date.
Yes, Kelly did bring a date. Her stepbrother.
Wait a minute. Donna was dancing with somebody.
Who?
No, that was Kelly. Never mind.
Kelly was dancing with David. Kelly's like, oh, I'm here with the best dancer in the world. And he's like, oh, you want to step on the court? She's like, oh, I thought you'd never ask. Because it's all big band, swing music. And they do some swing moves, which I know. I mean, they're easy moves. Because I took that class. And then it's not impressive dancing.
Well, I mean, the crowd seemed impressed.
Yeah. The paid audience of extras, yes, they were impressed.
Okay, so Donna's Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Ray does show up eventually, though.
Yes.
He comes after the party, which was nice.
He's like, talk about showing up late. And they're like, hey, last dance, everyone.
Right.
Ray's here, last dance. And then he's like, yeah, but I want you all to myself, which also sounds creepy. And,
yeah, he's such a weirdo.
And then they go outside, Zach and Kelly's prom style, to
right?
To dance alone where you can barely hear the music instead of dancing in front of all her friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a freak. So while all this is going on, Valerie is supposed to be helping Kelly's boyfriend paint this mural.
And I thought she was going to be like rubbing her tits in his face or, something like that. But no, instead, she's just sitting there.
Watching him.
Yeah, she's just sitting there at a table far away from him, just watching him work. Like, what is your goal here?
Well, eventually she does go over there and put up tape, or was that before?
That was before.
Okay. So he finishes painting and needs to wait for the stuff to dry before he can continue working.
The primer.
So he's like, yeah, until that primer dries, I'm totally free. And it's like, well, then what the fuck? Why didn't you think that shit through?
Right. And she goes, well, you want to get something to eat? Are you hungry? And he's like, I've got a better idea.
Yeah, so they show up at the fucking ball together.
Yeah.
He's wearing a tux.
She's wearing a dress.
Like, where did they get these nice fancy ass clothes? Or do they just own them all the time? Like, I don't own no nice clothes like that all the time.
They only own them part-time.
Well, I mean, like, Donna even asked Ray, like, did you rent a tux? And he said no.
Yeah. But then he had a tux.
Yeah. Like, it's like, do they all just
no tension.
have them? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, so he shows up there in a tux.
The wardrobe department had
right. And Valerie is literally hanging on his arm.
Yeah.
So they walk up and Kelly and David are dancing, and Kelly sees Valerie hanging on her boyfriend's arm.
And she walks right up to Valerie and says, "You're a bitch.
You are such a bitch." Yeah.
And then commercial.
So, I mean, I'm glad, I guess, that Kelly sees what's happening.
But the thing is why? Like, what is happening? What is her plan? Like, why would she agree to this? Yeah, let's go to the dance together. Does she think she's going to fuck him in front of Kelly? Like, I don't understand. If she wants him and she's trying to put the moves on him, why get him in a place where his girlfriend is and will see them? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that wasn't her idea.
No, but she went along with it. She could have been like, "Oh, you just go and surprise her. I don't want to do this."
Yeah.
So instead, though, we cut to Kelly and Valerie in the bathroom.
Right.
And Valerie explaining herself, being like, "Yeah, you know, I don't know what you're mad at, what's going on, but we're just friends."
And then she goes and drags the boyfriend in there. I didn't really get that either. She's like, "Cinderella, Prince Charming, Cinderella." Like,
because it's a ball, I guess.
It was a weird thing to do.
Is she indicating that she's an evil stepsister?
I don't know what the fuck she's indicating or what the fuck she's trying to do ever. But now she needs a ride home.
I believe that this was the writer's weird ass way to get all of them together in the way they got there so that she needs a ride home from David.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, so that's who she gets a ride home from.
Yeah. Earlier in the episode, David was playing gin with his mom.
Yeah.
She was whipping his ass, Stu Unger style, at Gin Rummy. And he's clearly bored. He's like, "I'll go all the way to San Francisco for you, but fuck hanging out with you."
Yeah, she's like begging him, "Don't leave. It's my first night in my apartment. Stay and hang out with me." He's like, "I've been here for 3 hours, Mom."
Right.
Like, what a dick.
She has mental problems. He does. Like, by the way, she's sitting there and he's like, "Hey, can you play? You're driving me nuts." It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Think about what you're saying.
So he says, "Sure, Valerie, I'll give you a ride home. But we need to stop by my mom's on the way if you don't mind."
Because he was supposed to play cards with her that night, but he went to the ball instead.
Right. So they get there.
And she's like, "Oh, I know a thing or two about worrying about..."
crazy parents.
Yeah, because her dad fucking killed himself.
Yeah, so they're driving up, and there's police and ambulance and stuff in front of her apartment.
And he goes, this is also not a good line reading. Or not a good writing, really, either. They're driving up, and he's like, "I don't have a good feeling about this. This is my mom's apartment." It's like, we don't really need dialogue there. He can just look concerned.
Right.
Let the actor sell it with his acting ability. You don't need to write a line there. And so anyway, they pull up and he's like, "Hey, my mom lives here." And they're like, "You can't come through." And they're pushing him back. And he's like, "That's her." And because they're wheeling out somebody on a stretcher. And he runs up and he's like, "That's my mom. What happened?" And I don't know why, but the paramedics decide to just say, "Yeah, suicide attempt."
Right.
You might as well have looked right to the camera and been like, "It was a suicide attempt, folks." Because he didn't want to play cards with her.
Right. So he's like, can I go with her? And they let him hop in the back of the ambulance. So
And Valerie's just staring at him. Well, he's looking at her. You know, they share eye contact from the back of the ambulance. And she's like, "I need your keys."
I still don't have a ride home. Yeah. So, I mean, like, they have something in common there. So maybe.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen there. As soon as she said she wanted a ride from what's his name, David.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, something's going to happen there.
So, and then Steve's
Steven.
been getting, tutored from Claire.
Yeah, and he can't do math.
He cannot. It's sad.
One of the problems is if x squared is 81, what is 7 times x?
And
he's like, "I don't know."
And Willie the cook is like 63. Because, obviously it's 9 times 7.
Right.
But, yeah, it's sad. Steve's hopeless.
Right.
And Claire shows up to do their tutoring, and she's like, you didn't show your work. If you don't do your homework, you need to pay me double, and then leaves again. Like, that seems fucked up, too.
Yeah, she's weird. She's just trying to get rich off this.
So they end up going together, too, to the ball.
She goes, well, yeah, I've got an easy one for you, Steve. If I have 2 tickets to the ball, but I'm only using 1, how many tickets do I have left?
So, yeah, he agrees to go. She asks him.
But they don't have a good time.
No.
They don't really show that. They like one scene where they just flat out say, I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
Can we cut this evening short? And like, yeah, whatever.
Well, because he has plans to meet up with his girl from online afterwards.
Yeah, Cuddles.
So, yeah, so he goes to the Peach Pit to meet Cuddles.
And Claire looks like she has some plans afterwards as well.
Right. So
I completely called this.
You
is
did.
Very telegraphed, I think.
Yes. So he walks in and says to Nat, hey, did anybody come in looking for Tenderheart?
And Nat's laughing his ass off.
He's like, oh, yeah, over there. And it's Claire. Mm-hmm. So
wearing so she changed from her dress into like this blue, like lacy, you can kind of see her undergarments.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
No, I did.
So she changed into something sexy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, Cuddles, hey, what's up? So they're having like coffee or whatever. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think anything's going to happen there?
That is what they're intimating.
I don't know though, because he was supposedly putting on for her. Do you think he was putting on, or do you think he was only pretending to be putting on because he was talking to Brandon?
I mean, I think he can be sensitive.
Yeah, like if he actually likes a girl, I think that he can be a kind person.
He has the potential.
But that's not what he's shown her so far.
No. But he always puts that face on, like, I'm a macho guy.
Yeah.
Face.
I guess we'll see. I don't think that's a love connection. I think Valerie and David might be.
No, 2 and 2, but yeah. Chuck Woolery, love connection.
Oh, ha.
Thanks.
And then
good thing my face wasn't in one of those little TVs or whatever.
What do you mean?
Because you would have said, no thanks.
No, that's not true. I love you. You're very handsome. What else we got? We got Brandon.
Mm-hmm. That's the last one, I believe.
Yeah. So Brandon and the editor are both covering this ball.
Correct.
So he suggests that they then go together. And she says...
They're covering it from opposing viewpoints.
Again.
Her viewpoint being, this is misogyny.
Yeah.
His viewpoint being, this is just good old American fun.
Right, which, I'm sorry, but it is. She's a little too much. And she's like, I agree.
Really? See, I'm a little bit more on her side, I think.
Really?
Like, well, I mean, not entirely. Like, I think that she had... I think, at least, I don't know if I agree with her, with what she's saying. Like, I don't even think she necessarily believes all the stuff she's saying. Like, Brandon kind of points out, she's being critical just to be critical. She's critiquing just to be critical, which I think is correct.
Yeah.
But I think some of this stuff's somewhat outdated.
Yeah, it is.
The swimsuit stuff and everything.
But also, it's like, if they grew up watching it and they want to be part of it, I don't think they should be made to feel bad about it.
Oh, I agree. I don't think so either.
And, like, her whole attitude where she's like, oh, I agreed to go with you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to drive with you. I'll meet you at the dance. Like, what is that about?
I don't
like, what, you
that.
think he's a date rapist? Because he's Brandon, so he's not.
Some control issues or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So then after the words, they go back and start writing their stories in the same room.
Immediately.
In their dressy clothes. Like,
we have
what
to
is
write
going
this
on?
Immediately.
And then they just keep, sharing these, like, sneaky little looks at each other. And he's like, I like working with you. You're a good editor. Mm-hmm. And then a few minutes go by, and he's like, is there anything about me that you like?
Yeah, that seemed very pathetic.
Yeah. And she's like, I can't think of anything, but I'll try. Like, what the fuck? It was such the weirdest exchange, because then she gets up and walks over and kisses him.
She's like, I thought of something. Your lips.
Very good lips. It was weird.
And she should have been like, if you think my lips are good, my cock's even good.
But I mean, it didn't flow well.
No.
Like, it was just very, like, clunky and awkward and uncomfortable.
It's not yelling at each other and then are you as turned on as I am more and then making out. It's not
It
that.
should have been that.
It's not Sam and Diane.
I would have preferred that.
Oh, that would have been great if they started yelling at each other about their opposing viewpoints or whatever. Yes.
But this was just weird.
Yeah, just weird and dumb.
But, yeah, so now they're going to be...
should be the tagline for 90210. Right? Just weird and dumb.
So we got all kinds of love connections happening in this episode.
Yeah. Well, potential ones.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with David. If David's mom doesn't die, then maybe he'll be up for banging Valerie.
Poor David. I mean, it's kind of his fault, but...
It's not right. Like, his mom's obviously was not ready for that step.
Right, I know. I'm just teasing. It's not
when she's like, when she's desperately clinging, like, you have to be here with me at all times. Like, that's...
Yeah, she doesn't want to be alone.
That's not... You're not ready to move into your own apartment then.
Right.
You rushed it.
I don't think I'd ever be ready to live in my own apartment, and I'm not even mentally, like, ill like she is anyway.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying I don't have any issues.
Oh, you wouldn't want to live without me is what you're saying?
Yeah. No, I mean it. Like, the idea of living alone just seems not fun to me. Like, I know some people love it. Like, my mom loves living alone.
Yeah, my mom too.
Nah, I don't think I would like it at all. Like, when my mom went out of town for, like, a week when I lived with her, I had to sleep with, like, all the lights in the house on and the TV going, and, like, I just freaked out the whole time.
Because you thought Freddy Krueger was going to get you?
Yes.
Nice.
All right, so why don't you guys tune in next week to see what's going on?
Wow.
What?
You go. I didn't even have to tell you.
Oh.
You just went right into it.
Hey, you open, I close. That's how it works. You can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com and check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
That's right.
And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.